Alright guys, welcome back. Today, due to request, we are going to be looking at hostage rescues. We're going to do this with no scripts. Everything is in-game, as all of my other tutorials. There's going to be nothing external. Well, most of my other tutorials. And we are going to be moving into this building, and we're going to enter a trigger that's going to make the two hostages in the building join my group. So, let's check out what it'll look like when executed properly. And move into the trigger area, and they join my group. And then of course I would have them loot this guy's body, and we'd move out. But we're going to look over a few things. How did I get him to join my group? And how did I get this guy to not shoot them? So let's back out. And start fresh. So first thing we always want is our player. And it doesn't really matter. But you have to name that player if you want the... No, you have to name the player for this type of trigger to work properly. So I named the player P1, and then we're going to do our two hostages. So we'll do two more riflemen. Actually, we'll do one, and then we'll copy and paste them. Make sure you ungroup them. And we have to strip him of all his gear. So it's going to be remove all weapons this, remove all items this, remove headgear this, remove vest this, and then in order to get their night vision, you have to do this unassignitem nvgoggles and this removeitem nvgoggles. So let's type all that out. And preview, and he should be standing there in his uniform, which he is, so that's good. And I can't access his inventory, but I'll trust that there's nothing in it. So let's back out. And we're going to name him H1. And we're going to copy, paste, because we want two hostages, and name the other one H2. So now we've got two hostages, but how do we stop the AI from shooting them? It's very simple. It's this setcaptive true. And you do it for both of them. So copy, paste on the other one, and for purposes of demonstration, I'll even paste it onto my character, and I'll put down an enemy. And you can see what setcaptive does. It basically makes the enemy ignore you. So you see the enemy right here, and he will not even acknowledge my presence, no matter what. So until setcaptive true is removed, the enemy will... He's healing himself. The enemy will not, absolutely will not, recognize anyone that's set captive as even existing. So let's back out, and we're going to put everyone in this building. We'll put this sneaky bastard in the corner of the building, as if he's guarding over the hostages. And I'll remove set captive true from myself. And now we have to set up the trigger to actually grab these guys. So we're going to make the trigger very small. It's going to be 1 by 3, and it's going to be a rectangle. And put the trigger on top of the guys. And then you have to group the trigger to the player. And when you group the trigger, the activation type changes. So you want the group leader. When the group leader enters the trigger area, the trigger will fire. Now, what is the condition? Is the group leader enters the area. The action is several steps. I want both of the hostages to join P1, so that's H1, comma, H2 in brackets, and then join P1. I want both of them to come out of setcaptive, so I have to do H1 setcaptive false and H2 setcaptive false. And now something I forgot to do, which we need to do, is we need to disable these guys' ability to run. So we don't want them leaving this area for the duration of the mission until they're captured. So you have to disable their ability to move, which is this, disableai, move. And you want to do this for both hostages. But then you have to re-enable it on the trigger, so you want H1 enableAI move and H2 enableAI move. And move has to be in quotation marks. So actually, for purposes of demonstration, let's take off enableAI move for H2 and see what happens. Now, at this point, we have everything set up exactly as I did in the first demonstration. We have two hostages with all of their gear stripped, and they are set to be unable to move. We have an enemy standing in the corner of the room. Hopefully. The dimensions of the building are not exact. And then the player is named P1, and the trigger has H1 and H2 join P1. And both of the hostages are set as captive, and then on the trigger they are removed as captive, which means once you rescue them they will be shot at like normal AI. And let's see if it works. I know that guy's in the corner in there, assuming he's not sticking through the walls. Alright, and let's see if they will join me. Yes. And because I did not have this guy's movement AI re-enabled, he's not moving. So I can tell him to move, and he'll say screw you. Alright, and we'll ignore the fact that the guy was buried in the ground. I'll go over how to get him not buried in the ground momentarily. So let's go back and we'll unbury him from being in the floor, and we'll make sure that 3's AI gets re-enabled. So this guy was buried in the floor, so let's move him out of the wall, and we'll put his elevation at 1, which means he'll start a little bit above the floor, but then he'll fall down properly. And we also need to enable H2 enableAI move. And now it should be working. Step on the trigger, they both join the group, and voila. And of course, like I said earlier, you're going to want them to loot this guy's weapon if you don't know how to already do that. You don't know how to already do that? Yeah, sure, that was English. Select your guy, hit 6 to bring up the action menu, and then there will be an inventory option that'll always make your guy move to the nearest inventory that he can access. And give him the rifle and the vest. This is his inventory, not mine. And have him drop the pistol mag, and then he can go back outside and have your other guy do the same thing. Access the inventory. And do it again. And now you're all set. Tell you guys to follow you. Let's go, gentlemen. Ignore the clipping errors. Hopefully those will get fixed by the time the game is fully released. And now you've not only rescued your 2 hostages, but you've armed them both. I don't think I left anything out. Let's hope I didn't. This should conclude the tutorial. Well, this does conclude the tutorial. And I hope you guys learned something. As usual, thank you for watching. Stand by. I'm gonna go right.
Gotcha.
Ready?
Yeah.
Crawl.
Right's clear.
Rocket.
Did you get it?
Did.
I fucking
did.
hope you didn't miss at that range.
Yeah,
Yep, there it is.